Welcome, my good people, to the Monday night edition of the Bliss Pickup. Hey, we talking about tight ends. We getting closer and closer to them trenches. Y'all know how much I like the trenches. Listen, when y'all come in, make sure y'all hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Also, listen, on top of talking tight ends, right? Tyreek made a cryptic tweet, the other day at the Hard Rock Stadium, and we're going to see if maybe the Dolphins should consider bringing him back. We'll see how we feel about that. Plus a little bit more, see what how we do over here, get into all kind of topics. But before I do that, let me bring up my co-host real quick. Lou, what's good with you?
Tone, what's good, dog?
Hey, Lou, listen, man. All I want to know is how you feel about the Dolphins possibly running a wing T offense.
Hey, man, listen, I don't know so much about the wing T, but the the cross buck, man, I think we should run for sure.
Hey, but listen, what's been going on, man? I know Tyreek on the Lolo. I see you, Steve. Listen, man, how you been, man? You wasn't here last show. You know, you had some family thing to take care of, so catch up with you. How's everything been, my brother?
Yeah. On my end, I'm still going through the therapy and things of that nature, but so far so good on my end. And then had obviously a family member that was also in the hospital and had a major surgery that you know he had to go through, and I had to go visit him and stuff. But again, man, it's when I've been gone, you and Vincent, they've done a great job, and I couldn't appreciate y'all more for the time I've missed. Y'all have carried the show. So, but yeah, as far as everything, man, I'm good. How you doing, Tom?
Hey, everything good. Listen, first of all, I want to say happy Father's Day to the people that we didn't see, Sunday. Happy Father's Day to you, Lou. Listen, had a major time. Yeah, my daughter's getting up there. She will be, she's turning 15 years old, bro. My daughter about to be 15
Mm.
years old in August. So 2 months from now she'll be 15. But I'll tell you this, Lou, just as a father, and you're a father as well. See, I got a daughter. That's my one and only daughter. And bro, it's nothing like that. I'm getting a Father's Day. Listen, Saturday, my fellas, my homeboys, they was like, "Hey man, what you got going on?" I'm like, nothing. It's just a different level. Like, bro, listen, we went out, we got some tickets to the Marlins game, and let's go out and hang out for all the fathers. You get what I'm saying? They were like, bro, you're a father. So out of all my homeboys, I'm the only one that has a daughter. Well, that has a child. You get me? So they were like, man, just how much of a father you are to your daughter. We wanted to make sure we took care of you. You know what I'm saying? So went out there, um, got something, went to baseball, enjoyed the game. It was immaculate, bro. I'm talking about we watched the Marlins put belt the ass to the San Francisco Giants. You already know. Get back, take my daughter out, eat always. I love, we're sushi. We love sushi. We love seafood. When they got something to eat, right? And I'm like, okay, everything all good. Had a good time. Man, it's Sunday. It was my relaxed day. We just chill, relax with my daughter. We sit back and chill, probably watch a movie or two. Just, enjoy it. I don't like being in all that chaos on Father's Day. You know how it is. Food. And my daughter tapped me on my shoulder, like around 12 o'clock. She said, "Hey, I need you to take me somewhere. I got a surprise for you." I'm like, "Huh?" Man, I'm not big on getting gifts. And man, I tell you, she took me. We went out to Walgreens, and she had this amazing collage made of us with all of the pictures from her and me from since she was a baby all the way up until she was 15. Man, I almost cried out there, Lou. I said, "Oh my God, man, my baby out here looking out for me." So I had an amazing Father's Day, man. How was yours, Lou? How was your Father's Day, bro?
Tone, before I get into mine, that's probably the best story I've heard so far. And again, bro, I give you credit. Happy Father's Day to you as well. All I'll say to the story that you just said, that just shows the great job that you've done as being a father.
Yeah,
Because
appreciate it.
again, it's not about the value of the gift, and that when I heard that story, Tone, she put effort. Baby girl
Yes.
put effort. It wasn't about the money. It was about the effort. She realized all the times and the things that y'all have created over the years, the time y'all spent
Yep.
together. So that's a beautiful story. As far as me, Tone, listen, man. Again, family's been good. They always take care of me. They always look out, and I'm kind of like you. Sunday, we just kicked back, chilled, and it's just all about. My wife had a couple things that she lined up with the kids, and it was just it's just great to be around. I see Sean in there, and Sean was basically saying that having kids is like the greatest feeling or gift in the world. I would tend to agree with that because I don't know if it's like that for you, Tone. I could be transparent to a lot of people. My kids changed my life. I don't
Yes.
know where my life would be without my kids. So,
Yes.
again, but all everything was well, and shout out to all the fathers out there.
Yeah, I could that I could attest to that, and I could second that what you said. But when I was young, man, I was me and you, we grew up at, and you understand the lifestyle and the life changing moment for me in my life to change my life around was, it was a potential of me, being in a situation that can't get out, and I remember my daughter watching my daughter with her mom, and I say, God, dog, if I'm gone, who gonna take care of my baby girl? And from that day on, I've been on the straight and narrow, bro. Having a child has changed my life literally, like literally. I was out there, and everybody know. Well, people that know me know what I used to do. That moment right there, when there was the opportunity of me not being in my daughter's life, that's all I needed. And it's been a straight narrow, and there's been temptation, there's been opportunities, never took opportunity, like never faded, never wilted, nothing. Like there's nothing more important than being a father for me. You understand? Especially growing up how I grew up. Yeah, it's nothing like it. So yeah, I could second that. My having children changed my life for sure, and for the better.
Absolutely.
But to all the fathers, appreciate y'all. I see you in there. Appreciate you, Sean, Steve, JD the Great. Real appreciate y'all. But listen, man. With all that being said, let's get into it, Lou.
Absolutely. And well, before we get into it, hey, there's one person missing. Shout out to our sister. Hopefully, again, life be life and things happen. Just, everybody, I just want to, salute the Insanity and get well soon. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, good well soon. You already know. Our sister, she says she'll be back. Had to deal with some things, but she
Yeah,
makes sure.
just a little under the weather. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Let us notify us and let us know that she's doing fine. She'll be back hopefully on Wednesday. But yeah, shout out to her, man. All prayers up to Insanity. But so listen, before I get into the show and get into everything, I just want to let y'all know the reason we chose tight ends today because I knew it for a fact. My brother had let me know he was gonna be on this show, and I know how much he loves Kaz Merrick and Traore. So I said I'm gonna make sure we get into tight ends. Shout out to Steve. I know you see it, Steve. Generational tight ends gonna make an impact in here. So I wanted to make sure my brother had the first opportunity to attack this subject. So Lou, listen, we got tight end rooms 2026. What are your expectations? Who you think is going to be the standout, or you think it's going to be, maybe underwhelming, probably not make the team? Any surprises? What do you think about the tight end room so far? And what are your
Okay.
expectations?
So the first person I'm gonna start with is Troy Airy or whatever that dude's name is. He was
Traore.
I think he was a lifeguard or something in a previous employer or something. I don't know. He was some kind of security guard. Either way, when we drafted him, I guess since he was coming from the NFL program or whatever he was from, he can go to the practice squad and just it won't count against the roster. So that's where Troy is going. He's going to the practice squad. So we'll leave him alone. Kaz Merrick, what do I expect? I expect him to do what he's a fullback. That's what he does. He's gonna run and he's gonna hit people. He's gonna chip block when he's on the line. I mean, it's a cute story. But the tight end that I'm most looking forward to, Tone, and I think is gonna be the biggest weapon for us, is Greg Dulcich. You know what, Tone? I'll give you some things that, and again, I've learned a lot from you, Tone. I've done my homework. I did a little research, right? Do you know Sully had a press conference, and Sully said when they asked him who he was most intrigued to see, his name was Greg Dulcich.
Yeah.
I believe that Greg Dulcich, when we look at it, is going to be Malik's safety weapon, especially early, because I don't think Chris Bell is going to be starting the season. I don't believe in Caleb Douglas and Malik Washington. Listen, we know what he is. And we always know that a tight end is a quarterback's best friend. So especially early, I expect the ball to go often. And, again, I think he's going to make plays for us. Greg Dulcich, Tone, I think he gives us – we were kind of in the Twitter space today, and someone brought up that he was like the Mike Gesicki. Well, he's not. He's a
No
better blocker than Mike
blocker.
Gesicki, and he gives you the same catch radius. And for me, even last year, Tony, in the limited sample size when he came to the Dolphins, he was making plays. You see what I'm
Yes.
saying? He was doing his thing. So my expectations for the actual room, listen, I don't know. Again, we got Ben Sims as well, the guy we got from Green Bay. I think he'll be on the team. I think he'll be on the team. I think Kazmarek will obviously make the team. But Greg Dulcich is the guy for me that I identify that's going to have a major impact, especially offensively, and especially early in the season.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, listen, expectations. I mean, what do we expect from the tight end room? I mean, I don't know. As long as they're Kazmarek is as advertised, Tone, and he's this elite blocker, and he's going to help the run game so much. That's my expectation for him. Greg Dulcich as a playmaker, and Ben Sims just to go in there and fill in at times. And Traore, hey man, listen, um, Tone, it won't be hard to find. What me and you go to the games and we'll be wearing, that's what he'll be wearing. So at the end of the day, yeah, that's the assessment with the tight end room. I expect big things, but only from Greg Dulcich.
Oh, okay. So you don't think Ben Sims going to make any impact at all? The tight end they got from Green Bay.
Well, when you say impact, what do you mean? What do
You
you
don't
mean
think
by
he going
impact?
a couple plays here, maybe a touchdown or two, playing time, help out in a run game?
Well, I think I think he'll be on the sidelines. How many people do you know that hold the Gatorade bottles that squeeze like the water in people's mouth?
Yo, this funny, Lou.
I'm just, bro. I'm telling you what. Ben Sims will be on the sideline putting water in people's mouth. I mean, bro, what do you expect from Ben Sims?
Hey, listen. So, I get it. For me, I kind of agree with you with Traore. I think they're gonna develop him, give him a year or two before they get him involved. In any way, type of capacity. I'll give you that. Now, Greg Dulcich, I believe, and you hit the nail on the coffin. So, shout out to you for doing your homework. That's the weapon that they say they was most excited to. Well, on yeah, because he said weapons, so they was most excited to work with. You get Greg Dulcich. They seen some talent there. And I would like to remind you guys, at Green Bay, Luke Musgrave and Tucker Kraft, right? Those were their tight ends. They're not household names, but they're productive in that offense. And for the most part, Green Bay kind of moved like that. So I'm not going to really, over have too many expectations for the tight end room. But what I would say is, I do believe, like what you said with Dosage, see, tight ends are typically the quarterback's safety valve. When all things fail, you want you a nice, tall, big tight end that you could throw the football to over the middle of the field. That could be your safety valve, your check down, or whatever it is. Because for the most part, everyone is going to expect that to be Achane. And I think that's where the biggest opportunity for Greg Dulcich is going to be from that standpoint to where, hey, listen, Greg Dulcich, you're going to be my safety valve. We don't want to overwork Achane. We paid him this money, so we need him to be, for the long run. We need him for the long haul. But you can make a name for yourself, Greg Dulcich. Now, Lou, I think me and you can agree. From what we see from Greg Dulcich, we was impressed.
Absolutely,
we were
sure.
both impressed. And I think more consistent quarterback play will help him out a lot. I think he have the opportunity to take the next step. And when I say next step, I'm not saying be an all-out tight end and a top 5 tight end, but I think he can be a weapon that's serviceable and someone that people cannot just ignore. I think last season he showed the capability to be a receiving tight end, and you add in the fact that you do not have to take him off the field on run plays. I think that helps him out a lot, which is probably why they were more excited to work with him, because he's still young and he still have potential to grow. And the type of offense that they're going to be running, I think if you're successful in the running game, it helps everyone out in the passing game. And it helps those receivers get out in their routes, because play action tends to pull the defenders up or give them that little slight bit of hesitation. And in NFL, that's all you need is one misstep, a little hesitation, game of inches, and something positive can happen. So he's the one I would give you. I think me and you are on the same page, that I think from the outside to what teams could look at it and say and notice, hey, he's doing something because it's going to be by numbers. They could see his touchdowns and probably his third down receptions and things like that. But I'm not going to sleep on Kaz Merritt. Now, I've been high on Kaz Merritt because of his blocking ability. And I think he's going to have a major impact from that standpoint. I really do. Now, as a receiver, me and Luka go back and forth and make jokes and, things like that. But from a blocking tight end, I think he's going to have a major impact. And that's going to be very important and key to the type of offense that we need to run. His ability to block linemen one-on-one, even on rundowns when they know that we're running, it's going to be a major difference and a major upgrade from everything that we had prior to this season. Now, you could say, hey, we had Hill, the Julian Hill. We had Julian Hill.
Right.
Man, we seen Julian Hill miss so many tackles, it was a shame. It was an absolute shame. But what is another thing that we started to notice on the film, Lou? Julian Hill running wide open. You remember we noticed that?
That is a fact. Mm-hmm.
We noticed him running now. Not the same exact offense, but, same West Coast. If Malik Willis could start hitting tight ends in the flats that's been wide open, that give the defense something else to think about. Now, this is all predicated of them executing and getting the job done. Am I expecting something major like, oh, this tight end room is going to be dynamic? But you know what I would say, Lou? I think this tight end, as far as a production standpoint, might be more productive than his wide receiver room. Now, we know in many OTAs, the tight end room is what's been shining. We've heard all kind of negative things coming from, talked about, the wide receivers and the injuries with Chris Bell, things of that nature. But when it came to tight ends, everyone seemed to be surprised, pleasantly surprised, of how the tight ends has been showing up. Now, shorts and T-shirts. So this is not a guarantee. I'm just saying if they continue to show the same amount of production that they have been showing at OTAs and minicamp, then we possibly can have an underrated room that can catch the league by storm or surprise, I'll say. Catch the league by surprise and say, hey, they might be a little bit more talented than we thought. So all I'm saying is don't be surprised if the tight ends be more productive than what we're looking at. Paul, I see you ask, what's the Dolphins record after the first 4 games? Paul, I got us at, when do we play Cincinnati? Game 5 or 4?
Week 5.
4-0, Paul. I got us 4-0 after week 4, opening up with two road games. We're going 2-0 on the road trip. You could book that. Take that to the bank. Yes, sir. We're going to beat them. We're going to come back and win to a home. I think Minnesota is the 4th game, right? If I'm not. No, Minnesota's away. Minnesota's away. Cincinnati, who's our 4th game? I know Kansas City is the home opener.
I think it's the Jets, ain't it?
Oh, and the Jets. Oh, yeah. 4-0. 4-0, Paul. Now, come back to me after training camp. It might be different. But so, for now, it's 4-0, But outside of that, I would say this, because San Francisco now, if I'm going to be realistic, San Francisco might be a little different. So come back, check with me. But as far as when it comes to these tight ends, I think it might be pleasantly surprised. Now, their impact by far, and I'll, leave it here for now. Their impact by far is going to be in the run game. For sure. The blocking. And when we come from that standpoint, that's why I think they're going to make their names at first and earn the trust of our coach and our offensive coordinator, Bobby Slowick, and then start trusting them more in, the passing game. Now, Lou, we covered the wide receivers, right? I don't know if you were here on that episode, but we covered the wide receivers and we gave our concerns. So now I'll ask you this question. Do you have the same concerns that we have for that wide receiver room? And if so, do you think that would give more opportunities to these tight ends to be able to make plays? Because for me, if I look at every weapon that Malik Willis has at his disposal, I would say Malik Washington and Greg Dolphins would be the two that you were like, okay, I can at least have trust that they can make plays. Right? Do you
Yeah,
think that
I would agree with that. Yeah.
so do you think that the lack of talent on the outside will give more of opportunity to, let's just say, Greg Dosich, a guy like Greg Dosich, to have more of an impact when it comes to receiving and especially in the red zone area?
Yes, I do agree. I think because again, Caleb Douglas, y'all know how I feel about him. Outside of that, like we don't know what Terrence Marshall is if he even makes a team. Theo Weiss, we kind of know what he is. We don't know
Yeah.
if he makes a team. Jalen Tolbert, cool. Again, when the other episode when we talked about it, Tone, he's a legitimate three. That's what he's been for his career. Tutu
Yes.
Atwell, a three. So yes, I do think with the lack of, I don't want to say talent because I do think the wide receiver room has talent. It's just unproven. I do think
Yeah.
for your question, yeah, Greg Dulcich probably gets a lot more of the, like you said, red zone targets. Hell, in third down situations, I think Malik will have more comfort with Greg Dulcich than any of those wide receivers outside of the Malik Washington, like you said. So yeah, I definitely think the tight ends could have more of an opportunity because we don't really know what we have from the outside. So yeah, I can
Right.
see that.
Yeah. And for me, and I ask you that, for me, I think his biggest impact is going to come in the red zone. 6'4", 6'4", 245, 250, something like that. I believe anytime you have a target like that, that presents a huge target to easy throws for him. And you get him one on one with a linebacker in the end zone, you're gonna take that opportunity every time. And I think that's probably gonna help us out a lot in the red zone when you give Malik Willis an actual guy that he trusts in the red zone that can make a play. We've seen Greg Dosich make some plays. We've seen in the red zone as far as the struggles from the previous regime. This regime, I think, and again, I'm just going to be a common theme if y'all continue to listen every episode. Listen, make sure y'all hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if it's y'all first time over here. Subscribe, help us. I believe we are, what were we? We're like 4 away from 890. Like we would appreciate y'all if y'all get us to 890 by the end of this episode. That would be greatly appreciated. But as far as weapons in the red zone, I believe the fact that we're going into the season, majority of the people outside looking in, they're looking at us to be a run first offense. It's going to be run based. Those are where the opportunity is going to come for this tight end room to make plays in the end zone, make plays in the red zone, and get some, I won't say cheap touchdowns, but easy touchdowns where it's just a quick, hey, fake the whole defense out, forget about the tight end, he's wide open in the back of the end zone. Now, obviously, if you do that more often than not, or for multiple times, defenses are gonna, adapt to it and start to pay attention to them. But that's still the abilities are there, and to give them something to think about. Now, when we get to we ain't there yet, but we get to the running backs, I'm breaking down how that potential positional group can make it easier for this tight end and the weapons on the outside. But for right now, we're going to focus on tight ends. And I think there's going to be a lot of opportunities there for our tight ends to make plays, for them to affect the red zone and become the type of offense to where they're not the big name guys. But if you look up, right, and Greg Dosich got, let's say, 5 touchdowns on the season, and then Kaz Merrick at, let's say, 2 or 3 on the season, I'll say 8 touchdowns from your tight end room. Would you say that would be a successful season, Lou?
Yeah, for sure. You definitely live with that for sure.
Mm-hmm. I would live with that, especially coming from what we're expecting from this offense, at least, right? Now, I'm not gonna break down coaches, but I do want to give you opportunity because I know this is one of your biggest issues when it comes to Bobby Slowick, right? Do you have any? Well, I know you probably got issues, but you think that he will have red zone issues, or do you think the fact that we have a scrambling quarterback, you get what I'm saying? You think he would know how to use a Malik Willis in the red zone to where he can get these tight ends open and use them to his advantage?
You would hope so, Tone. That's my biggest thing. See, I think people get a misnomer. Let me try to explain it. If we see Malik Willis and he's doing 3 cartwheels and a backflip and he's making an amazing play or something out of nothing, that's not Bobby Slowick. You see what I'm saying?
Facts.
That's Malik just being a playmaker and being able to make plays. I think if I had, and I see Steve, he wrote earlier, gun to my head. I'll use that same analogy. Gun to my head where we're talking right now, Tone. I think Malik Willis saves Bobby Slowick a hell of a lot more during the season than Bobby Slowick puts Malik in better situations. I don't trust Bobby Slowick at all. And I just think that we'll at the end of the season, and again, if Malik plays up to par, if he's having a good season, I think a lot of people will, well, oh my God, did you see the offense? Look at Bobby Slowick, look at the job he's doing. I don't believe Bobby Slowick is going to be better at calling plays than Mike McDaniel. I know Mike McDaniel is a touchy subject for everybody. I get it.
Yeah.
Mike McDaniel is a better offensive coordinator than Bobby Slowick. 100 out of 100 times. But I do think Malik he's a playmaker. So in that aspect, I think that's the biggest thing. I don't look in the red zone specifically like Bobby Slowick's going to do anything is groundbreaking, right? Where we're like, oh my God, that's a great play call. I just think when you have a dynamic quarterback like Malik Willis that has the arm strength to make every throw and then virtually can Tone, we've seen it best when the game we broke down against Baltimore. He had 2 rushing touchdowns in that game. They both came inside the red zone. That's where Malik Willis is going to be very dynamic. And I think the tight end room, Malik, I think we should be better in the red zone. But for me, I don't think I'm giving the credit to Bobby Slowick unless I'm watching the game and I see it. I think that will be more of some of like the Greg Dolich's and the Malik Willis just being able to make plays, if that makes sense. I really don't trust Bobby Slowick at Tone, to be honest with you. I don't trust him at all.
And hey, listen, he don't. I would say he had one good season in Houston. The second season was okay. It wasn't, it was a bit of a step back. But this is what I wanted to say. I believe, and this is just my personal opinion, I believe Bobby Slowick will try to take a page out of Sean McVay's book and use more of the 3 wide receiver look. I'm telling you right now, I believe he will, because I'm looking at the weapons, right? And I'm looking like, okay, cool. We got Tutu Atwell, we got Jalen Tolbert, got a rookie and Caleb Douglas. The only dynamic guy that we have, Chris Bell, injured, maybe put him on a pup list for the first 4 games of the season. And I'm looking around and I'm like, they drafted Will Kazmarek. He was the second receiver off the board technically because they got him right after Caleb Douglas. Then you turn around and you see the guy that they're the most excited for is Greg Dulcich. So if they're most excited for Greg Dulcich, right, that means they plan on using him a lot. Then you look at the guy that he's more familiar with has been Ben Sims. The explosive play coming out of the offseason program was to Ben Sims. So I think there's opportunities there for them to use that 3 tight end look that was so productive and worked so well for the Rams last year. I think they might take a page out of that book. This is a copycat league. We already know that. If you see certain things that's been successful, that's been working, especially on these defenses, they give them a different look, because what our defense is starting to do now, they're starting to use more DBs. They started to use more safeties as linebackers. And these outside linebackers are edges now, things of that nature. So how do you combat that? Putting more tight ends on the field. Overpowering these lighter defenders. And make the defense have to adapt to you now. If he's smart, and I get what you're saying, Lou, we don't trust Bobby Slowick. But if he's smart, hey, there's a blueprint right there. Use it. If we could look at people and say, okay, who will Malik Willis be more comfortable with starting the season? Tight end is always your safety valve. He had one that he played with last season. He has a guy that seemed to be maybe the best weapon that he had in Greg Dulcich. And then you got Will Kazmarek, which is going to be on the field for blocking. I believe there's an opportunity for him to use his tight ends and start to be more of a use them as more of as a safety blanket. And then guess what? That's how you start to get in rhythms. We see Malik Willis. He's a scrambler. He likes to make things happen. And you know what I noticed the last 2 seasons in Green Bay, albeit a small sample size? Malik Willis do not mind taking a check down. You remember what was coming out of minicamp? You remember the first 2 practices? What was the thing? Oh, he did a lot of check downs.
It was all check downs. Yep.
They had to force him to throw the ball downfield. And remember when I broke down his film when we first got him? I say, hey Lou, you know what I noticed? He's not taking a bunch of risks. He's not making a lot of risky throws.
Mm-hmm.
If that check down is there, he's taking it. That's a sign of maturity right there, people. That's a sign of taking care of the ball. You want that out of your quarterback. Now, do you want him to make crazy athletic plays downfield? Yes, you do. But Lou, I think you're the perfect person to point out when it comes to this. You're the biggest component of, hey, man, how many times you think quarterbacks is going to throw the ball 50, 60 yards downfield?
Mm-hmm.
You got to be accurate for the most part. You have to know how to make every throw on the field, and you have to know how to throw into windows and throw with anticipation. So I think he checks one of those marks out, which is being safe with the football, not turning it over. So let's see. Let's see how he used that to his ability, and he say, you know what? If defenses give me these check downs, I'll take them all day. All day. Until they force me to be aggressive. I see you, Steve. If they don't force me to be aggressive, don't do it. Don't do it. That's Patrick Mahomes had to learn that the hard way. Now we did. Go ahead.
No, my bad, Tom. I was just going to say, I don't think a lot of our explosive plays, especially early in the season, I don't think it's going to be by design. Like, I don't think we're running a lot of 9 routes, this, that, and the third. What I think when we see the 35-yard gains, the 40-yard gains, maybe the 50-yard gains, I think is going to come from more, again, of the playmaking ability. When you have a dual threat quarterback that can, let's say, extend the play, escape the pocket, that stresses the defense. Now those linebackers are creeping up. Those corners are taking their eyes off the wide receivers because now they see Malik Willis and he has the ability to take off. And what that does is when a corner or a linebacker or whatever takes their eye off whoever they're guarding, just for that split second, Malik Willis is the kind of guy with the arm strength that he has, Tone. He can make those kind of throws. That's where I think those explosive plays are going to come from. More of the broken down plays, escaping the pocket here, there, the defense maybe taking a lapse and missing their assignment. Let's say they're in zone. Oh, listen, I can't stay in the zone. Malik Willis is coming downhill at me. And for a split second, they creep up. Malik hits them over the head, over the top. I would just say, for me, that's where I think those explosive plays are going to come from. I don't know how you feel, but I don't think we're going to be calling a lot of 9 routes and things of that nature. I don't see the receiver. We don't have that type of receiver outside of Tutu Atwell that can get down the field. So that would just be my assessment.
You know what? And that's a great assessment because I think, like I say, Tutu is a burner. We know Caleb Douglas is a burner, but when you even coming out of college, we didn't have him like, oh, he's a deep threat, right? That's not even his calling card. So yeah, I think you're right. It's going to be more generated than actually drawed up. Like, okay, Malik, go ahead and make a play, and then you hit them downfield. So yeah, I think that's a good observation on your behalf. And that's not by design. And let's be real. For the most part, the Josh Allen, the Patrick Mahomes, and all that, that's how most of that downfield come. They had to show the capability to do that before they were drawing up those type of plays. No offense in the league, for the most part, unless you the run and shoot, which a lot of teams doesn't run that. They don't run all these deep, long, drawn out routes for you to take deep shots. It's usually coming off play action after you've been running the ball the whole time. So yeah, but if we're looking for just for Bobby Short to be dialing up a bunch of deep shots. No, even in the offense with Tua and Mike McDaniel, guess what? They were for the most part 15, 20 yards downfield and then let the receivers do what they do afterwards. Make a guy miss here and then that's how they were generated those long plays and things like that. And that's just how the game goes nowadays. Period. It's always been like that. It's not like it's something new here that it's something that we could just say that's only pertaining to the Miami Dolphins and no one else. No, this is the way the league is. The league, and I think the last team that I remember that they were just going deep. The two teams that I remember would be at the 2015 or 2017 Patriots with Randy Moss. That team, and then before that Michael Vick team when they had Deshaun Jackson and LaShawn McCoy. Jeremy Maclin and those teams, when they put that team together, those were the team where, no matter what you do, somewhere in that first drive, they're going deep. They're testing you because that's just the way their offense was made. Mike Vick had the strong arm and they had them burners out on the outside. But neither one of those teams won Super Bowls, even though the Patriots went to one. But outside of that, teams aren't just going deep like that. So it's going to have to be, manifested from the quarterback making plays and just scrambling and then, backyard football, so to speak. So I think that's a great assessment right there. Now, with all that being said, I see we got a poll. Y'all vote on the poll. Let me see. Will the tight end make an impact this season? Oh, yes or no? Okay, y'all vote on the poll. We still got 19 votes, man. Let's vote on the poll so far. 79% of y'all say yes. So, hey, man, it is what it is. What do you think? Buffalo Diggs 2020. I don't know, Steve. I don't think they were drawing them up. I just think that was the mindset of the quarterback. But it wasn't until Joe Brady did. Okay. So now, Lou, let's shift subjects. Now, that it's the FIFA World Cup, right, Lou?
Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm.
And our good buddy. Now I don't want to talk about Alemania.
I like how you said that, Tone.
You know what I'm saying? I don't want to talk about them or the USA. We talked about that. The +5 is that's not my handicap. That's not my golf handicap, sir. But there's games down here. Uruguay had played. I forgot the team they played. It was packed over here. Y'all know I live right here by the stadium. But there was a young man that attended the stadium, and Tyreek Hill. Now, y'all know how Tyreek do. He loved to stir up some stuff. He loved to tweet out to things and put these encrypted messages out there. Stir up anything that he can. He made a tweet that had people, and I don't know if it's out there, but locally in the community, heard it on the local radio channels, in the news, that he said he missed Hard Rock. Came here and said, "Oh, Hard Rock, how I missed you." And now that spur up a bunch of rumblings and questionings and things for people to start asking questions about. So I say, maybe an interesting topic to cover. Let me see what my brother think about this. Well, it was my brother and sister, but it's us two right now. Would you be open to the Miami Dolphins re-signing Tyreek Hill?
Well, before I answer that, Tone, salute to my homie Game Boy on 305. He says the dynamic duo is back, and you already know that's for sure.
Shout out to Game Boy.
Absolutely. Tone, I know me and you and Vicinity as well. We've kind of talked and we highlighted when Tyreek was here how he quitted on the team, this, that, and the third.
Mm-hmm.
But again, we also knew that maybe there was some drama between Tyreek Hill and Mike McDaniel, and everybody, as much as I liked Mike McDaniel, you cannot take away the fact that he was a little bit of a pushover when he got here. With that being said, Tone, hell yeah, I'm taking a swing at Tyreek Hill. Because I would love to see Malik Willis or a type of quarterback with that kind of arm strength. And again, the escapability, right? What I was just saying. Malik escapes, the corners or safeties or whatever, they take their eye off. Now we got Caleb Douglas streaking down the field. Malik Willis can hit him. Or Tyreek Hill streaking up the field. Now, again, Tone, I know we're limited on money, right? So I'm not breaking the bank. I'm not just giving Tyreek this massive deal or, this, that, and a third. But if you're telling me Tyreek's willing to play ball and it's $5 million, $6 million, hell, even $7 million, yeah, I'm taking that because even with the age, right? And even with the injury, Tyreek Hill, he's never been hurt, though. You see what I'm saying? Like, he's always been available. And again, at certain points during his career, Tone, he's been the most dynamic wide receiver the league has to offer. I'm sorry. I look at the wide receiver room, and we talked about it a couple of days ago on one of the shows last week. Some of our concerns with the wide receiver room. Mm-hmm. It's all if Tyreek is willing to play ball, Tone. If he's willing to play ball and make that money work, I'm taking a shot at Tyreek. And the only reason I brought up Mike McDaniel is because, and I kind of, I'll give this to Halfley and Sully. It seems like they're no-nonsense kind of guys.
Yeah.
They're going to let you know what it is. I don't think Tyreek will come in this locker room and kind of do some of the antics he did with Mike McDaniel to Jeff Halfley. That's the biggest credit I can give to Jeff Halfley so far. So, yes, if you're asking me, Tone, I'm definitely taking a shot at Tyreek Hill if the money is, if he's willing to play ball.
That's a fact. And what I would say this, listen, Tyreek has some off-the-field issues in his personal life. Typically be like, hey, I want to stay away from that. Has some let's say, quote-unquote, issues with the quarterback. Typically, you want to stay away from that. Now, I was the first one, and I don't care what no one says, right? When everyone was out there trying to praise Tua, trying to give him all kind of credit for what he was doing. Let me go ahead and put a page out of my brother Lewis' book real quick. Now, I was the first one telling y'all that it was going to be a problem when Tua called Tyreek out last year. I told y'all. And why did I say that, Lou? Remember I say, I'm not saying what he said was wrong. He's just the wrong person.
He just can't be the one saying it.
You can't say that to me, brother. The way you are, the way you conduct yourself, the way you perform, you can't be the one tell me that, not me, voted number one player in this league. You can't be the one to tell me that, Tua. That was the problem with Tyreek. Now, do I like the showing up late or things of that nature? No. But I think you said hit the nail on the head again, dude. Halfley and Sully seemed like no nonsense type guy. You're not getting away with that here. Now, we knew Tyreek was a fool, but when he was in Kansas City, Andy Reid, and they didn't have that over there. And the fact that they had to be, I guess, so strict on him, kind of one of the reasons why they was willing to move off of him. Now, Tyreek is in a unique situation right now. People question, hey, will he still be that speed road runner that he's known for? Because let's be real. The thing that makes Tyreek valuable is that dynamic ability, that speed, that track speed that turned into football speed, that he is a game breaker every time he touches the football. But if you take that away from Tyreek, the juice is not worth the squeeze. It's not. So I know a lot of people was out saying, hey, I'll be willing to take a shot on Tyreek if he's going to come in here for the vet minimum, or he's willing to, take a team-friendly deal. That's one of the things that I'm looking for. But you want to know what else? Can you guarantee me that you're still going to be dynamic? I need to see you working out. I need to see you making these cuts. I need to see if you're going to be the Tyreek that everyone in this league fear. Because if you're not that Tyreek, I'm not bringing you in on a team-friendly deal either. Because that's what makes you dynamic. But I think it's very interesting. Tyreek hasn't been, picked up by no one. Typically, a guy like Tyreek Hill, they don't last on the market for too long. Let's be realistic. People are lining up to pick up a Tyreek Hill, especially a guy that's got cut that you could bring in and don't have to trade for. But I think a lot of people are looking at this injury and saying, and they may have the same feelings or the same mindset that I have. Hey, Tyreek, you only become valuable to us if you show us you could be the old Tyreek. Or at the bare minimum, you could be a deep threat here still. But if you're not able to be the cheater, then all that off the field issues, no, it's not worth it. You remember who was one of the most dynamic players in the league, but always had some issues? Antonio Brown. I remember Antonio Brown. Once he stopped being as dynamic as he was, and he still was with the shenanigans, look how quickly he nosedived. People was like, hey, nah, we ain't willing to deal with that. So I get it. The name Tyreek Hill sounds amazing. Should be a no-brainer. But he has to be the guy that makes him, or that you assume would make him a no-brainer, which is the guy that comes in and no matter what you do, H-Chan, no H-Chan, Malik Willis, teams are worried about Tyreek Hill first and stopping Tyreek Hill. And he could guarantee you 2 safeties deep every time. That is where Tyreek brought his value. That's what made him work all of the off-field issues. So, Lou, I will ask you that question. Are you confident that he could get to that, Tyreek?
I don't think you're ever or we'll ever see what Tyreek was, right? And again, that's age. That's not even so much with the injury. That's even with age, right? Like,
yeah.
Father Time is undefeated, right? Like, it's always going to catch up to you. But, Tone, I'll be honest, I think you can get 80% of what Tyreek was. And from what I see on our roster right now, 80% Tyreek is still better than anything we got on the team.
I agree with that.
So, yeah, I don't think, again, that you're going to see what Tyreek was. But, no, I think he can get to at least 80%. Now, Tone, I got a question for you.
What's up?
His agent is Drew Rosenhaus.
Mm-hmm.
Drew Rosenhaus, we all know the story. He has a stranglehold with the Dolphins building. But he don't really have a stranglehold with Sully and Halfley, right? Like Chris Greer has been in this organization for 20 years. He's not in the building no more. A lot of those people that were in the building, they're not here no more. So I'll ask you, Tone, do you think that gives more of an opportunity for him to return to Miami because of the Drew Rosenhaus factor? Do you think that plays a factor in any of it?
No, sir. Not me.
You got a quick figure today, boy.
You hit it right on the head, Lou. He had a headlock on the previous regime. You see, all that friendly Chris Greer and talking to the head coaches and, spending time with them. That might change. Because now I do know he has a relationship with Ross' son-in-law. You remember the last time he did he was talking with Ross and his son-in-law and Tom Garfinkel? What did we say? Me and you kind of, we were like, hey, why isn't Chris Greer in that meeting?
Right. Yep.
See, now Sully came out. And this is based strictly going off of what Sully said. With all due respect, this is my show. Ross, you hired me, but no, this is my show. So, Drew, you could go talk to Ross. You could go talk to whoever you want. You got to come to me now before you bring them players in this building. And we see he hasn't been, it's always been easy for him to come in and say, well, I've been talking about the Miami Dolphins. It was very interesting for me to see this, Lou. On Fox, down here, excuse me, Fox. Josh Mosher is the one that does the Dolphin specials on Fox. He always does the interviews with Drew Rosenhaus. He asked Drew Rosenhaus about Tyreek and speaking to the Dolphins. And for the very first time, Drew Rosenhaus basically was like, no. Now, he didn't say no in those words. You know what he said? Well, Tyreek at this moment is focused on getting healthy. And that's what we focus on now. Any other time, it'd be like, oh, yeah, we had talks with him, but they know the first thing is getting healthy and this and that. No. When he asked him about him communicating, he was like, oh, he focused on getting healthy. I said, oh, wait a minute. That's the difference in energy shift right there. You know? So I think from that and that alone, it shows Drew Rosenhaus may not have that stranglehold or that chokehold that he had on his Dolphins. Or let's just say the inside. He was the inside man. Let's be realistic. Drew Rosenhaus was the inside man. He basically, all he was missing was an office in the building. That's the only thing he was missing.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
You know, but I think things have changed. And I don't think it's so much of a shoe-in as like, if all else fails, I know I could always go to the Dolphins. I don't think he has that abilities no more. And that's why I was saying I have to show and prove now instead of being able to rely on the always fallback Miami Dolphins. Jamaica, hit the like button, everybody. Yep. 360 y'all in the building. Hit the like button, subscribe. Hey, we're 3 away. I thought we was 4. We're 3 away from 890. Please, if y'all could just give us those 3 subscribes, get us to 890, we would really appreciate it. Subscribe. If you already subscribed and you know someone that hasn't subscribed, go tell them. Tell them go help the Blitz pick up. You know, get the subscribers up. And hit the like button as well. But go ahead, Lou.
Absolutely. Now, little follow-up, Tom. Do you think, because before you asked the question, you said Tyreek was already putting like cryptic tweets out, and the tweet was, "Oh, I miss Hard Rock Stadium."
Yes.
Do you think that Tyreek is more like he's been informed by like Drew Rosenhaus, or like there's maybe not a lot of interest from teams around the league, and that's why Tyreek is making statements like that? Because he's just trying to latch on to, the team he just came from?
You know what? Now that right there, Lou, I believe Tyreek at this moment understand and have the gauge of what the interest level is around the league. I know Drew Rosenhaus has gave him the lay down. You know what I'm saying? He gave him the blueprint. Said, "Hey, let me give you the rundown. This is what's going on." Maybe a lot of people are concerned with you getting back to the level that you can. Now, for a team like the Miami Dolphins, Lou, 80% Tyreek Hill is better than anything on his roster. We agree with that.
Right. Yep.
Right? 80% Tyreek Hill maybe worth the risk for a team like, let's say, the Saints. But there isn't too many teams. The Las Vegas Raiders. Maybe the Washington, because they, you want to pair Scary Terry up with Tyreek Hill. Baltimore Ravens, I think it would be a great landing spot for him.
Could a reunion with Mike McDaniel with the Chargers be an option?
I don't know. They got young stars over there, bro. They got young up-and-comers. They do. So I don't know. Could be, though. Could be. But remember, that's not Mike McDaniel's show no more. No. That's Jim Harbaugh over there. Jim Harbaugh don't play that. You get me? Nah, we run the ball.
Mm-hmm.
We definitely not forcing the ball to Tyreek. And also, if what's true, and the friction was there, why would Mike McDaniel bring him back over there when he got young stars over there? Remember,
that's a good point.
Don't forget about Arondé Gaskin Jr., his son. Dynamic tight end. 2 young. I forgot the dude with the dreads, but they got, the young wide receiver that killed us. So I'm just not sure if that's a good landing spot for him. But I do understand that a lot of teams are probably more looking at, let's see if he can get to that level before we even be willing to risk it because of the off-season issues. The off-field issues. Now, I'll ask you this question because, is the 80% Tyreek Hill for you worth all the off-season issues that come with him?
Yes. For this team, yes. because again, outside of A-Chain, you don't have no legitimate real like superstar outside of A-Chain. And I just think it's unfair to, well, I don't want to say unfair to Malik, but listen, what Malik has to like work with, bro. This is borderline 2019, and we went today. We kind of talked about it in the space, bro. That 2019 roster, the Isaiah Fords, the Miles Gaskins, the Malcolm, whatever his name was, the Jakeem Grants of the world.
Yeah, Jakeem Grant, yes.
Like,
you know,
bro,
and Devontae Parker. Like,
Tone, nobody's gonna be successful with those guys. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I do want to give Malik some kind of, because I think A-Chain is gonna be a godsend for him. And I do think, again, Greg Dulcich, he can make certain plays here and there. But listen, at 80% of Tyreek
on the outside.
Bro, Tone, listen, even at 80%, bro, Tyreek is a legitimate weapon. And kind of like the conversation we had the other day, we were going back and forth about the game plans and stuff. I think you just said it. Yeah, you got a game plan for A-Chain, right? And that even if Tyreek came back, I do think the game plan would be for A-Chain. But now, Tone, you got to account for Tyreek Hill.
Yes.
Because if you don't, 80%, he's streaking down that field. So, again, I'm with you. He would have to come into the building, maybe do a workout for the Dolphins, this, that, and the third. But to answer your question, because realistically, right, I know there's some off-the-field issues with Tyreek. Yeah, he's going to be in the media for, doing something crazy, or he's going to be on his Twitch streams, and he, showing up to the game, he might get pulled over by the cops. I get all that. But, Tone, even with all that said, it didn't stop him from being dynamic on the field, bro. It never, all those off-the-field issues didn't stop him performing for the Dolphins. So, listen, if we had certain players on this team, I would say no. But what we looking, from my mindset, what we have offensively, outside of A-Chain, bro, it is bare. I do think 80% of Tyreek would be, for me at least, the risk would be worth the reward. Because I do believe in Sully and Hafley too. I can't stress that enough. If Mike McDaniel was here still, Tone, as much as I like Mike McDaniel, I wouldn't be saying go get or bring back Tyreek. I wouldn't say
okay.
That.
All right.
But with Sully and Hafley, I'm saying go get Tyreek. Because I do think those are the kind of guys, again, and we got to see if it continues. But Tone, I think you would agree with this. Sully and Hafley have shown me, at least up to this date, that it's their way or the highway. You're either going to do it their way, or you could just go. And I think, Tony, forgive me if I'm wrong, right? But remind me, didn't Tyreek, when he was here, he even say he needed coaches to be hard on him and push him? Didn't he say that?
That's when you said, I was just going to thank you, Lou, for pointing out. Yes, you are 100% facts about that. So thank you for bringing that to everybody's attention.
No, absolutely. And I'll let you go and maybe continue on that. But yeah, I would say Hafley and Sully are, to me at least, Tone, it seems like those are the kind of guys that could handle a guy with like Tyreek. I do believe that. So,
yeah. And I was just going to ask you, so you're basing it off the type of GM and head coach that we have, right? And then that's for you to bring in like a great point that I think everyone has to remember. You remember that I was, thank you for reminding me, Lou. Remember I was saying, you know what? I'm going to start a new narrative. What about the players that need hard, tough, no coaching? You remember that? Because I was like, Tyreek said that's what he needs. That's how he thrives. That's how he be more successful. He needs to be humbled and admitting that it's good. Right? So the fact that you have guys that's like, okay, there's no nonsense. But you want to know what's the biggest issue the biggest thing that I was going to say? Remember when I started off and I said, see, Tua, you can't be the guy to say that. What do we know about Malik Willis so far since he got in here? Respected, a leader, and everyone pay attention to him. And I don't think he will have a problem getting Tyreek to listen. I don't think he will have a problem being a leader towards Tyreek Hill. And I think he has the respect of the players to say, Hey, yeah, Tyreek ain't no cutting up over here. We respect Malik Willis. See, now you remember the issue was last year was that it was the violent locker room because of Tua. Now you mean to tell me you got a guy in there that's no nonsense? So let me get this right. Jeff Hafley, no nonsense. John Eric Sullivan, no nonsense. You know what that eliminate, Lou? The soft-minded players run into head coach and GM when these players start to put their foot down.
Bingo.
See, that was the problem. The problem was whenever you have the Jordan Brooks of the world coming out telling these players, oh, you soft. Even Tyreek saying, man, we need dogs. I'm so sick of this. You don't have the soft, feelings hurt type players running to a coach and the coach now not allowing the players to police themselves and govern themselves in the locker room. That was the problem. That's why I led off with saying, remember, it wasn't what Tua said. It was the person who said it. It was because it was coming from Tua. Now, just imagine that coming from Malik Willis. No, this is my team. No, this is what we need you to do. Tyreek already said he need that type of stuff. And then we already know Malik Willis is the type of guy that's not a disrespectful leader. He's the guy they were like, you just want to listen to him. What you was going to say? I see you came out.
Oh, no. I was just saying, like, I agree with what you're saying. Absolutely.
Right. So at the end of the day, you got the Jordan Brooks of the real. You got the Aaron Brewers in the real. You got the Malik Willis of the real. You got A-Chan now taking a leadership role. You got the Zach Sealers on this team that's still, here as a leadership as a leader. Guess what? All those people could speak up and talk and say what they want to say. And say, no, Tyreek, we can't have you. We need you on time, early. And we already know that's what type of time they on. Now, Lou, guess what? First opportunity was to go in the building. Who was the first one here? Malik Willis.
Malik Willis. Yep.
Malik Willis was the first one in the building. So I'm leading by example. Now, with all that being said, all that has to be in place. For me, though, this is just my personal opinion. 80% Tyreek Hill may not be worth it for me. And because you have to have all that going for yourself. You have to have it. If it was an established, like I'm under the same impression as you. Like you think it's worth it because of the type of team that we have. And you're thinking about it from a standpoint of the lack of dynamic players that we have on the outside. Bro, you are welcome, Tyreek, with welcome arms. For sure. With open arms. Come on, Tyreek. Me, because of the lack of veteran presence here and not being established. Malik, you're the leader, but you're not established. Right? I wouldn't want for him to have to deal with a guy like Tyreek that's not happy. And then on top of that, the major issue is, do you think Tyreek is willing to go from the top paid wide receiver to a guy on a bargain contract? You think he's one of them type of guys?
Well, to answer that, no. I don't think he is one of those guys, but this league tone can humble you very quick.
That's
right?
a fact.
And coming off the injury that he had, his age, right? I think the days of Tyreek being the leading money guy, like the $30, $35 million, no, he ain't getting that no more. So, again, and even if he wanted to, Tone, right? Even if that was his mindset, coming off that injury, to your point, you got to show these teams. So I do think for at least this season, it would be a 1 year, like, prove it deal. Hey, if you come back and you're the Tyreek of old and you're doing some of the same things you've been doing, yeah, then we're willing to extend you and show you grace. But I think, first of all, this league humbles people. And I think the kind of like what we were talking about, I don't think there's a lot of interest so far. I mean, Tyreek, you said it earlier. Guys like Tyreek Hill are not on the market for this long. So
They are.
the reason I believe he is because there's not really a big market for him. So I do think, at least for this season, he's gonna, if he wants to play against home this season, I do think he has to humble himself a little bit. I don't think he can come in here and just start asking for 25, 30 million. I don't see that.
Yeah. And I do. I mean, I agree with that. And what I will say too, to add on to that, I think Tyreek is looking more of a team right before the trade deadline, like middle of the season, bringing Tyreek in for a playoff run and a playoff push. Kind of like what Odell Beckham did to the Rams 2 years ago, 3 years ago. I think that's where he would show, or some interest would be showed for him. You know, because teams are like, hey, man, listen, at this point, let's see where we are. I don't think it's worth it. Him making that kind of tweet is showing that probably he's not having that much interest. And what did I tell you, Lou? Just remember, like, I hate tooting my home, right? What did I say? I said, you know what going to happen with Tyreek? He's not going to be acting a fool and cutting up on social media no more. No, he's not. I said, Drew Rosenhaus is going to put the blueprint down. Here you go, Tyreek. Injuries, all these offseason concerns, you want them to forget about you. You want them to forget about you. Because if you're still in there with the shenanigans, it's a constant reminder of what they have to deal with if they take a chance on you. Tyreek, for the most part, went 0 dark 30. And the first time we talking about Tyreek Hill in the offseason is because he tweeted he missed the Hard Rock Stadium. That's not like the Tyreek. Tyreek always is tweeting. Always have something on social media. Always video gaming, you know, live streaming and saying something. We haven't had him. Now, you know what else we know? Tyreek do got that It Needed to Be Said, that podcast that he's doing all season. Haven't seen him fire that up either. Haven't seen him do that. So I know Drew Rosenhaus, and I already know that he's going to put on a masterclass of rehabbing Tyreek's image. And so far, so good. Because we got to remind people what happened with Tyreek. It's not out there. You know, so think of it from that standpoint. I think halfway through the season would benefit Tyreek as well to get away from all of this, some of the craziness was going on. Because we know in the offseason he had to deal with even though it's old, but, you know, the thing with the girl and breaking the leg and then all that stuff happening, you know, you have to let that stuff just go on, just sweep it under the rug and continue to conduct yourself as a model citizen and let these teams, you know, for the most part say, okay, you know what? We only have to deal with him for half a season. Let's give him the vet minimum or whatever it is. And it'll be worth a Super Bowl run, right? I think that's when it will be worth the squeeze because it's like, okay, now he's not at the beginning of the season where we have to see if he's ready. We already gave him a whole, basically, that'll be a 4 year. Because you remember, he got injured in week 4, right? If I'm not mistaken, week 4?
Yes, week 4 against the Jets, yep.
So that's a full year of Tyreek getting healthy, healing himself, and boom, you're more confident in the fact that he might get back to the old Tyreek to where, okay, now this may be worth, you know, taking a chance on. And at the end of the day, if it don't work out, it don't cost you as much money, and it's a half a season, nothing that you can't move off of. And I think that's going to be when he comes in the league and say, okay, and let's say a half a season, a good Tyreek, a half a season, someone will pay him. Let's be real. Tyreek needs 7 to 8 games of Tyreek Hill before another team be willing to take a chance on him.
Take a chance on him. Yep.
That's all he really needs. If we're going to be 100%. Give him 7 to 8 games. Oh, he back? You know what? Yeah. Come on, Tyreek. We got you. Let's take this 2-year deal, man.
Absolutely. Yep.
I got you on the 2-year deal. Maybe a 3-year with a third year out. That way I can spread the money out. You know what I'm saying? And have an out in the third year, kind of like how they constructed Malik Willis' contract. And say, all right, that's what we can do. So I think that's, to me, Lou, and for me, that's where I think the interest is going to start showing, or that's where it's going to be at its peak when teams need to go on that late Super Bowl run. And powerhouse
Mm-hmm.
TJ, I don't think Tua want to see another second of Tyreek in the same locker room with him. Atlanta, Atlanta, I don't think they're thinking about it.
They don't need them anyway. They
Nah.
got weapons over there.
They got
They're
weapons.
loaded.
Remember, they got Drake London. They got Madal Bijan Robinson. Yeah. And
They drafted the rookie Branch.
Brent. Brent. And Donnell Mooney. So
They still got
nah.
Kyle Pitts as well from the tight end position.
Forgot about Copy. They resigned him?
Yeah. He went back for a 1-year deal, so he went back.
Yeah. Yeah, so let's see that. Let me see. Let's get in the chat real quick, Lou. Shout out to
I
y'all in
agree.
the chat. Go ahead.
Well, Tone, real quick, because you're on the same kind of wavelength I am. I'm just going to highlight, comment real quick from I guess YME, and it says if Malik Willis is that dude, if Malik is that dude, he don't need Hill. I think that's the wrong mindset to have. Now, I'm not saying you need Tyreek Hill, but every quarterback needs weapons. That's like saying, oh well, Lamar Jackson is Lamar Jackson because he don't need nobody. Or Patrick Mahomes is him, so he don't need like that. That's the wrong mindset to have. I don't agree with that. I'm not saying Hill is the guy that they need, but again, offensively, the only real playmaker we got is Devon A-Chain. And I'm sorry, outside Malik Willis or anybody else playing the quarterback position, they need more than that. So I think that's the wrong mindset to have. And then the next question was from the homie True Fin Fan. He says, question, if this new regime, do they feel like they need or they kind of want Tyreek? I don't know how to answer that, Tone. I would probably say no. They don't. I don't think that those are the guys that look and be like, oh, we need Tyreek.
Mm-hmm.
What I will say is the same thing I said earlier. I do think those are the kind of guys that can handle Tyreek, though. I don't know if they want him, but I think they could handle him if they did get him, if that makes sense. So I just wanted to, kind of say that.
Those are the ones that I was going to highlight too. And then the last one I'll go right here is not Steve yet. I'm sorry, Powerhouse TJ. Does signing Tyreek give us a better chance of having a winning season / payoff win? Yes, if you get the Tyreek Hill, 80% a higher Tyreek Hill. Yes, I would say that. The problem is, and for me, the same question that I will always have is, can you guarantee me the offseason issues will go away? Because if you take away the offseason issues, I'm taking Tyreek Hill at 75%. You get what I'm saying? But with the offseason issues, like, do I really want that? And that's the thing right there. And then Steve said, upside, Tony, if Tyreek look good mid-season with us, we might be able to trade him. You know what? That is our deal, but I don't think how. Nah, I don't like how often do you see that in the league? A team sign a guy on a 1-year deal and trade him mid-season? I'm not sure if that, I mean, it can't. But I think from that standpoint, Steve, we will have to be having a bad season for that to happen. Because you telling me Tyreek is here and we're on the cuffs of making the playoffs or even in the hunt, you're not trading him away.
Yeah, you're keeping them around. Yep.
Right? You're keeping them. So I think that only worked if we got them and we, like they say, we looking like we are doing the under 4.5 games and we're real close to the under. I think that's probably a time where you'll consider even doing that, even though that's not as, common in the league as I don't think I ever seen that. A guy, they sign a guy for 1 year on a 1-year deal and trade him mid-season. I don't think that's ever happened. But I do say that it's worked. What you can't do, Lou, and I will say this, you can't just ignore it and say, hey, well, I'm not going to completely overlook it or not do your due diligence. I think it's at least worth doing your due diligence. Hey, man, bring him in for a workout. Like, I wouldn't be mad if I hear, oh, Tyreek is Kim. The Miami Dolphins is bringing Tyreek Hill in for a workout. I ain't mad at it. Let me see those numbers, though. And let's see how it works. I think that's part of doing your homework and checking all boxes, I'll say. Crossing your T's, dotting your I's, and not leaving any stone unturned. You have to. Now, listen, we got a poll in the chat, man. Do y'all, what's the poll? I forgot. What's the poll? It's Tyreek.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Would you want Tyreek Hill back? Yes or no? Y'all make sure y'all vote on the poll. Vote. Would y'all want Tyreek Hill back? Let me know. Let us know right there. If y'all be willing to bring him back. I see a couple of people saying yes. Two Fin Fan said it was a hard no. I think it was up there. This is the one I was looking at. Yeah, he did say this, and I don't know if the way he say a guy who quit in New York and looked happy to be out of Miami as he was carted off the field when he got injured. Nah, I'm good. True Fin Fan, that's good. Remember, I was here telling these people he did look like he was happy. Carter, I'm glad I'm not the only one that's seen that, because Lou and I think it was Jess at the time was looking at me like, nah, bro, you tripping. So it did look like he was kind of happy, caught off, and I just thought maybe it was because of the BS that he didn't want to deal with. For whatever reason it is. But those are the type of things that comes into question when you think about even bringing in a Tyreek Hill. Is it at what point do it not be worth it anymore? Now we haven't seen the fall off of Tyreek. Lou, let me ask you a question. Do you think it was a coincidence that last offseason, Tyreek went and ran that 100-meter? Because you remember coming into that season, everybody was saying, well, how long is he going to be Tyreek Hill? And is he still the fastest guy? Remember when A-Chan was like, oh, I seen you get run down. You remember that?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And he goes out and he run, what was it, 10-4? What did he run in the track? I think that was on purpose.
I know it was a 10-something. Yeah.
Right? And he won his heat. I think that was on purpose to show people, no, I still got it. And it switched from, well, is Tyreek still as fast as he is to like, man, God, doing that at 30? It's just saying Tyreek is different. It went from that, and he changed the narrative. So I think he did that on purpose. Everything is purposeful for Tyreek. He's not just doing anything just to do it. So I think with those questions already starting and now coming off the injury, they already questioned it because of your age. And now coming off a severe leg injury, woo, it's going to be a lot of questions. It's going to be a lot. Without the offseason, the off-field issues, teams are still going to be reluctant, or they were going to be reluctant to bring them in. Add that all in, it might be different. And Lou, that's probably going to help any team that's willing to bring them in. It's probably going to help them get Tyreek for a bargain.
Yeah, whoever gets him this season, Tone, is going to get him for a bargain, in my opinion. You're not going to have to pay him. It's not going to be a long-term deal. It's going to be a one-year deal. And let's say the most is $10 million. Again, if you're even incentive base, right, to $10 million. All I'm saying is, Tone, Tyreek Hill at 80%, in my opinion, is worth $10 million. I'm sorry. He just is, bro. I'm not going to – listen, Tyreek has done some things that have been questionable. Yeah, there's some off-the-field issues, this, that, and the third. What I will not do – and he did quit. Like, True Fin Fan is right. He quit on the Dolphins, right, in New York. That is all true. What I will not do, though, Tone, is come out here and take anything away from Tyreek Hill. Because talent-wise, bro, when he's on the field, he's demonstrated he's been the most dynamic player. We always talk about how dynamic, Tone, A-Chain is.
Yes.
Well, that's what Tyreek Hill has been for the last 9-10 years in the league.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, I'm with you. I'm not breaking the bank for him. He has to come in. He has to show us that he's close to 100%. And again, his head has to be right. But I'm sorry. I just think with all that said, and I think you just said it right, the off-the-field issues plus the injuries, I do believe whoever gets Tyreek Hill, Tone, is going to get a bargain this season. If his head is right and if he can get to about 80, 85%. Nah, bro, I think that Tyreek does get value to a football team. Absolutely. Yeah. Tone, we even knew that, even as a decoy, just having Tyreek Hill on the field, teams have to account for him, bro. Right? So, listen, man, again, Tyreek has done some wrong, but I'm not going to take away. He is a Hall of Fame player, and he has been good those 3 years he was in Miami. He produced for us. I'm not going to take that away from him. So,
Well, Mudbone, he chokes in the clutch. I tend to agree with you too there, Mudbone.
That is a good point as well. Yep.
Yeah, I did. Steve said I give Tyreek this too. He doesn't slack off. He quit on us, but he's 99% of the but he 99% of the time is going to give it he give it all he got. Okay. 99% that it's just that 0.1%. He quit on us that one time, and Mudbone pointed out something in the clutch. He tend to fold, in the big games. And these are the things that, from Dolphin fans, we can say this from personal experience. We seen you fold in Kansas City. We seen you fold in Baltimore. Seen you fold kind of in Dallas. Seen you fold multiple times against Buffalo. We saw this. Now, the same thing that I did for Hafley, and don't worry, I'm gonna have to make that a special. I didn't plan on talking about the coaches, but I might have to squeeze that in before we get to the trench talk. I think next Wednesday we will be talking about linebackers. I mean, not linebackers, about I'm tripping. Yeah, maybe linebackers. But at the end of the day, guess what? When we break down Hafley and the way his defense looked against those quarterbacks, that the elite quarterbacks or the top tier quarterbacks, it's gonna be mind boggling. And I heard my brother say it earlier, right, in the spaces. We complained about Mike McDaniels beating up on the tomato cans and not showing up against the big games or and the big name teams. You should have some question about Jeff Hafley and his defense. I'm just gonna point that out. That's all I'm saying, because I know they lost to Chicago in the playoffs. Jordan Love had 4 touchdowns that game. You let that sink in. That defense gave up 26 points in the fourth quarter, right? Not the second half, the fourth quarter.
In the fourth quarter, yep.
In the fourth quarter. So we're gonna have to start having these tough conversations, because I know so far so good. Shout out to my sister Finsanity. I know she's gonna love that. But that's talking and a mindset type. Well, we're gonna have to have a conversation of production on the field. And like I told my brother, I got colors, I got charts, I ain't got the chart, but I got things going that I'm setting up, and we're gonna have a nice little talk about Jeff Hafley and the way his defense looked when he go against those quarterbacks. So y'all keep that in mind. You have to keep the same energy when it comes to everyone. Tyreek as well. So y'all think about bringing Tyreek Hill in. Let's think about everything. How he performs in them big games. Oh, I forgot about the Philadelphia. You remember? Philadelphia, he let one fall off his knee and drop a touchdown.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, like it seemed every big game he dropped them. So these are the type of things that we have to keep in mind. We can't be just 100% homer. That's the difference. I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna say the difference. That's what we do over here, right? I could bring you all the stats. I could bring you all the things to make them look great. But while I'm doing that, I don't ignore the things that don't look so good as well. See, that's what we don't do. And you already see my brother. My brother already saying, when he does his homework, he start doing a little digging. And what you said earlier, Lou, it's crazy what you can find out, huh? With just doing a little bit of homework. It's kind of crazy.
Listen, I got to give you credit, Tom. I thought I was good enough just using my eyes, but when you do the homework, boy, it gets real dark, boy, when you do the homework.
And the inside looking in. So when y'all seen, we have these back and forth, and there's 30 of y'all in the building. Make sure y'all hit the like button. Listen, we 3 away from 890. Please give it just 3 subscribers, 3 more subscribers. Get us to 890. That will appreciate y'all. Hit the like button. Make sure y'all vote on the poll. Would y'all not like Tyreek Hill to come back? Would y'all wanted to give us a shot? It's just a yes or no answer. Quick click on the poll, and we good. But with all that being said, right, we have to keep it 100 and say, hey, listen, do a little homework, Pay attention to this team. When you hear us having debates and saying, yeah, that's cool. Especially y'all hear me and Lewis go back and forth. See, it's good when y'all hear me and Lewis go back and forth. It get dark when me and him on the same team. It's sometimes I look at it and say it's not fair.
No, it's not even fair. Yeah,
it isn't, because you see this and you be like, okay, that number, y'all know how my brother. That's cute. The numbers sound cute. What about against the top tier teams? Now how we look? What about in the clutch moments? Now how we look? What about in January and December? Now how he looks? What about when it counts? See, those are the things that you got to ask. You know, they like, let's add context to it. Context, when you start adding context to it, you have to take those things in consideration. What about these defensive coordinators that seem to force him to throw outside the numbers? Why does he struggle against those teams? You know, those are the type of teams he's going to face in the playoffs, right? These are the things that we've been said from day one. And ain't nothing changed. So keep that in mind. You know, for as much as I can give you a compelling argument for 11-6, 10-7, I have to do my due diligence. And you already know my brother doing his due diligence already, because he you know, once he heard of Hafley and whoever it is, he was trying to figure out who they are, to say, okay, but these are the negatives as well. These are the possibilities. These are the things that they need to improve upon. These are the things we need to look out for in this season for them to be able to have a successful season. That's when the tough conversations happen. But you know when you get better? By having the tough conversations. That's how you get better. You don't get better while everybody praising you. I've yet to see anyone get better when all you hear is praise. Praise, 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 praise. Go look at all the greats. They got better when they were questioned and when they were challenged. You know what praise breed, right? Complacency. That's all they do. Oh, he complacent. They tell you good. You ain't got nothing to work on. When people find out what you're lacking at and point those out, you always got something to work on. You can always get better. So keep that in mind, and we're gonna look at that from that standpoint. Lou, anything else before we get up out of here, man?
Nah, listen, I see Steve down there. His comments is great show, guys. Everybody like and subscribe. That is a fact. Everybody still in here, like and subscribe, and tell a friend to come over here. And then Powerhouse right under that. Shout out to you guys. Love this channel 100. We appreciate y'all. Crypto. We always got the wing too. Well, I mean, that is a fact. Listen, Crypto, I'm with you when you're right, dog. I'm with you when you're right. You know what I'm saying? Cookie Monster in here saying great show. So that's my final thoughts, man. Salute to everybody that's been coming through. Salute to my sister Antone, Finsanity Antone, for my absence and them holding it down. But yeah, so I appreciate y'all for coming through, and that's my last words, Tom.
Yep. We appreciate y'all. I would say, listen, like always, it's always fun come doing these shows and giving y'all this content and seeing how y'all react to them. This help continue the channel to grow. I will say this again: started a social media. Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, at Miami Dolphins. I mean, at the Bliss Pickup on all platforms. Please, y'all go follow us. I'm starting with little clips. We are going to start to do like maybe some reaction videos on there. Over there on the social media is probably where you're going to get Widows Bay. Listen, Game Boy 305. I'm finishing up. Cause they gave me Nemesis. Finishing up Nemesis, and I guarantee you by this weekend, I'll start on Widow's Bay. Now, y'all know my Sundays are dedicated to House of the Dragon. So, you know what I'm saying? So I got 6 days to dedicate to these other shows, but House of the Dragons is what it is where it's at. But yeah, make sure y'all go and help follow us on all platforms, X, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. At the Bliss Pickup on all platforms. I'm gonna start putting it up here somewhere. We're gonna see that. And yeah, Blacklist. I heard the Blacklist was pretty good too. Powerhouse TJ. I got a list to get through. So that's all I gotta say. Appreciate y'all. Lou, you know what to do, my brother. Get us up out of here.
You know what, Tone? I can't wait to get us out of here tonight because I gotta. Tone, when you started off the show, you highlighted, the FIFA World Cup and things of that nature. But things been going on in the city, and I just want to highlight some other things that's been going down in the city, right? Zito, or I think that's the general manager with the Panthers. He made a big trade, bringing in Kachuk's brother, Brad Kachuk, or whatever his name is. We don't care, but at least he did something, right? But Tone, if you don't mind, Tone, right? We still got 22 in here, and it's safe to say that we probably have a couple Miami Heat fans, out of the 22 people, right? And this segment right here is for y'all. The 22 of y'all, this is for you Miami Heat fans. I'm here to, I'm not going to lie to y'all. There was a tweet that came out earlier, and it said, and I quote, Pat Riley is dedicated to get a whale, to find a big fish. Now, Tone, what color infinity? Oh.
That's level 2 new. He was just Barati and stuff. Boy, I can't, boy.
Yeah. Hey, shout out to Noob. We love Noob over here. Hey, look, Tone. There was 22 people in here. I start talking to the Heat, we get 26. Look, they coming over here in droves. Y'all gonna like what I have to say. Patrick Riley, the Godfather, right? He said he is dedicated to finding a big fish or whale. Now, this is the part that I want y'all to listen to. That same tweet has been going around since 2014. A decade already. Now, Tone, we all know the hockey arena is outside of a mall. All I'm saying is, Tone, the American Airlines Arena, where the Heat play basketball, the Kaseya Center. You know where that's around, Tone?
Yeah, Bayside.
It's surrounded by water.
Well, backside of the water, but I get you.
I don't understand how Pat Riley has been looking for a fish, a big whale, for 13 years, Tone. And the stadium is outside of the water. Miami Heat fans, we're going to get up out of here. I just want y'all to know Tyler Hero for the next 5 years. The Jaime Jaquez, the Jovic's, the Pelés, or whoever else you got on that team.
Pele, one of them.
Okay, hey, shout out to my European. Tone, I love the Euros. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Pele. But that's what y'all are going to have. Hey, man, listen, this has been the Monday episode of the Blitz Pickup. Salute to my sister. Hopefully she feels better and she's joining us Wednesday. If not, you'll see me and Tone again. This has been the Blitz Pickup. We'll see y'all Wednesday at 8 o'clock. Tone, the revolver goes to the fat guy with suspenders.
This motherfucker don't miss.
We out.